Hey, what's up everybody? Joe here, and in this video I want to talk about a mantra and affirmation to help with anxiety, and that is one day at a time. I take things one day at a time. A lot of times we feel anxiety because we are not taking things one day at a time. We're often thinking about what we need to do today and what we're going to need to do tomorrow and next week and next month even, and sometimes even next year. And when we start to pile all of these responsibilities on, it can feel very overwhelming. Like, how am I going to accomplish all this? Like, next month is Halloween. So, Hillary and I are talking about getting a kind of couples costume together. So, I can start thinking about that. Or I have trips planned for later this year and next year, and I have to start to think about not only like booking flights soon, but also saving up money, and the list goes on. And it can be big things like those items, or it can be little things like, oh, I need to take my dog to the groomers, or I need to buy my family some birthday gifts or something like that. And a lot of times, when all these responsibilities are piled on and looked at once, it can be very overwhelming, because how are we going to accomplish all those things today? Really, there is no way to accomplish all those things today unless you really focus down. But the reality is that we don't need to figure it all out today. What we do need to figure out is what we want to accomplish today, and figure out how we're going to accomplish what we want to accomplish today, taking it one day at a time. So this is a reminder for you as well as for me that using that kind of mindset, and that the mantra and affirmation that we're going to repeat today in just a second, it can help us ground ourselves. It can help us come back to the present moment and remind ourselves that we don't need to figure it all out today. We just need to worry about what do we want to accomplish today and how are we going to do that, and let's focus on that. We don't need to worry about anything else. Worrying doesn't really help anyways, so let's just focus on today. And the mantra that you can use and that I use and I'm gonna use is one day at a time. One day at a time. One day at a time. Keep telling yourself that. Keep repeating it whenever you're feeling anxious about things that are not even, on your to-do list for today. It might be things that you need to do tomorrow or next week or next month or next year. But as long as you're focusing on one day at a time, one day at a time, or you can turn it into an affirmation and say, I take things one day at a time. I take things one day at a time. It can remind yourself and reprogram your brain to come back to the present moment, and to remind yourself to focus on your to-do list for today, not your to-do list for your entire life or for the next year, because that is just way too overwhelming for most people or for all people. So I want to give this tool to you, or you probably have said that before in your lifetime, one day at a time, one day at a time, but oftentimes we forget and to kind of tell ourselves this, and we just kind of build up this anxiety. I know I do. I personally struggle with anxiety a lot. So this mantra, one day at a time, one day at a time, one day at a time, and the affirmation, I take things one day at a time, I take things one day at a time, I take things one day at a time, really helps me ground myself, be present, and remind myself that I don't need to worry about everything on my to-do list for my entire life. I just need to worry about my to-do list for today. So whether that be, work out, walk my dog, get some work done, what are the items of my work that I want to get done today? Again, this can be broken down to your life in general, but it can also be broken down to specific areas of your life too, like your work. For example, like I don't know about you, but my work is a never-ending to-do list, like most people's work is, and most people's lives are. They're never-ending to-do lists. So, when we start to think about, oh, how am I going to get all this done? in one day, like that's just almost impossible. So use this for work, use this for your life, use this for relationships, whatever it may be that it helps you. Remind yourself to take things one day at a time. Use the mantra one day at a time, one day at a time. Use the affirmation, I take things one day at a time. And that should help you focus on what you need to accomplish now in this moment. And yeah, that's the tool that I wanted to talk about in this video. I do hope it helps you. Another thing I want to remind you is that a lot of times the things that stress us out are also the things that bless us. If you've saw one of my recent videos, Stressed or Blessed, where I talk about, sometimes one thing can cause us stress, but it's also a blessing. So it's up to us to choose whether we want to focus on the fact that it's stressing us out or choose to focus on the fact that it's a blessing. And this kind of mantra, one day at a time, is different, but I just wanted to remind you that too, is that a lot of times our to-do lists stress us out, but being able to do the to-do list is actually a blessing. For example, maybe you need to clean your house and go grocery shopping and blah, blah, blah. The list goes on, really. But really, the ability to clean your house, the ability to go grocery shopping physically, but also financially, those are all blessings. Some people struggle financially and they don't have money for groceries. Some people have physical disabilities and they can't clean their house or even go grocery shopping. So remember that the stresses in our lives oftentimes are blessings as well, but then also the stresses of our lives usually caused by things that we need to do or figure out. A lot of times, those are things that we need to figure out tomorrow or next week or next month or next year, and take things one day at a time. That should definitely help you lower your anxiety levels and focus on what can you accomplish today to help you achieve the overall goal, and then focus on that. So, writing to-do lists can help, especially for your daily to-do list and revisiting it every single day. Sometimes you'll accomplish everything on your to-do list. Sometimes you'll accomplish only some things, but coming back to that to-do list for today, taking things one day at a time, using the mantra one day at a time, one day at a time, and the affirmation, I take things one day at a time, can really help lower the anxiety. And take one day at a time. Take things one day at a time. And I hope this mantra helps you. I hope the affirmation helps you. I hope the reminder that a lot of our stresses are actually blessings helps you. And if it does help you, it would really help me if you smash that like button, as it really helps the video and the channel. So I will thank you in advance. And if you're not subscribed to the channel yet, do subscribe. That would really be awesome as well. That way I can see you in the next video. All right, that'll be it for today. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section if this helps you, or if you have other mantras or affirmations that help you. I'm all ears and always open to learning new mantras and affirmations and ways to be present, to ground ourselves, and to deal with anxiety, because I think most of us have to deal with anxiety one way or another. So let me know in the comment section and I will see you there. Anyways, I will see you in the next video. All right, thanks for watching.